Hello, how are you? And welcome to another episode of the Godfather Minute with me, Alex Robinson.
And with me, Andy Robinson.
And we are going to talk about minute number 40 of the Godfather Part II.
Minute. Alex, repeat after me.
Me.
Alex, me, repeat after.
Me, repeat after.
It's a modified pig Latin, by the way.
You feel like I'm back on with like talking to Yoda.
That's right. E minuto. Numero.
Oh, what was it? Quattrente. No, I give up. I give up.
You're
Cuenta?
You're 2/3 of the way there. Kind of. Keep trying.
What is it?
I know. Quaranta. You got it.
Good. You could not roll your R's growing up, right? You had to train yourself.
I had to teach
it.
myself.
Yeah.
I looked in the mirror and I kept like moving my tongue, like doing that little where you had to flicker it, like flicker it.
Wow.
I just kept practicing and practicing.
That's tough.
And I was spraying it. I wasn't saying it.
Give me the news, not the weather. Well, here we are talking about minute number 40 of The Godfather Part II. Mm-hmm. We're still in Mikey's office. The dour Don and his catnapping consigliere continue their heartfelt chat. Mikey tells Tom that he'll be running the family, and that him, meaning Tom, will be running the family, and that Mikey, suspects that the would-be assassins are already dead.
Dun, dun, dun. Big news this minute, Alex.
What's that? That Tom's in charge?
Tom is now the Don. He's getting what he always wanted.
How's it feel?
The illusion worked.
And even then, he still pretends. He's still like, wow, I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, he still seems like he's all in shock about it, even though inside he's like, yes.
Yeah. He's like, oh,
my plan finally came to fruition.
Mikey, I'm still waking up. Can we talk about this tomorrow when I'm awake? So I understand the consequences? The drowsy Don. He does get the name Don now that he is officially the Don.
You'll be the Don.
So
Don
you can
Tom.
call him the drowsy Don.
Does he? Do you think people call him Don?
The drowsy Don? Yes,
No.
But not to his face.
So first, there's the part about where he says, "Oh, you're my brother."
Oh yeah.
And then Tom says, "Oh, you know that meant a lot to him."
Yeah,
he always wanted to be thought of as a real brother.
He says, I always wanted to be thought as a brother to you, Mikey. A real brother.
Not like Fredo.
Oh, because he's weak and stupid.
So,
what do you make of that, Alex?
Well, this is the part that makes me think that this is Mikey's fantasy island. Oh. Because Mikey always wanted to hear Tom say that he always wanted to be thought of as a brother.
Oh, man.
So this is Mikey's like, I finally got to hear what everyone else seems to know.
So, wait a minute. There's a hole in your theory. Why would Mikey, if his goal was to have Tom say, hey, I want you to want me as a brother, right?
Yeah.
Why did Mikey wait this whole time to say that?
Well, it's like when you don't want to say it he doesn't want to say it to the real Tom, because what if Tom's like, Mikey, it's a little, you like avert his eyes from embarrassment.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Now he can tell the robot Tom that, because he knows it doesn't matter. Right? No matter, because he knows Tom's just going to react exactly how he paid him to. He's being paid to react. So
I have one client. That client is obligated to tell me how much of a brother I am to him. That's
to the contract. Yeah. So I have a question about who is the real Andy Robinson.
Who is the real
Andy
Robinson?
So, Andy, have you always wanted to be thought of as a real brother by me?
What do you mean a real brother?
Have you always? Which part do you not have?
Real. The word real.
Real
Yeah.
brother.
Is that like a blood brother?
However you interpret it.
Yeah, I think I've always wanted you to think of me as your brother.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know that.
We're brothers, right?
Well, yeah, I know you've always wanted to think of that.
So I get to be the Don now.
Mikey, you don't come.
Remember the last episode we were talking about it. We were wondering if is Mikey being legit here, or is he playing Tom?
Right.
Is he saying things to just as part of his mind games and moving the chess pieces?
He admits it in this minute.
Does he?
Because Tom says, I always wanted to thought of as a brother, a real brother, and Mikey says, I know.
Oh,
I know you always.
He
wanted
does say that.
So yeah, he
You're
says
right.
it right to his face.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I waited until now, and before my trip to Cuba.
You're still my brother.
Yeah.
I like how his trip to Cuba is bookended by him telling someone he's their brother.
Yeah. Now, Tom, when I get back from Cuba, if you've done a good job, then I'll tell you I think of you as a son. All right, so we'll be even closer. What do you think of that?
Mikey, I always wanted you to think of me as a son, a real son.
Well, don't think of you that way yet. You got to prove yourself. And then after a while, he just runs out of familial relations.
Yeah.
Later, he's like, Tom, you've always been like a half cousin to me.
Well, it's like a multi-level, it's like one of those cult things where they always keep coming up with new things that are, you're more than family to me. That's we go beyond family. That's what I like to think of.
Beyond family.
Beyond family.
Wait a minute. What do you mean like a cult thing?
What do you mean?
What are you saying?
Well, like when you're in a cult and they say like, oh, now you're if you just commit and you'll get to the next level and then you really get to find out everything that's going on, and then you do that, they keep adding layers to it.
Well, I mean, sometimes in social organizations, like I'm in this club and I've reached a certain level, but then. It's not really healthy to reach the highest level. They have to reveal it to you little by little.
Right. You don't want to just go stampeding it right to the end and find out aliens are running
That's
the whole
okay.
thing. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about your club. I have a great deal of respect for your club. Mm-hmm. So.
What else you got?
Yeah, so he says...
Yeah, we got to really pick apart the dialogue because that's all there is here.
Yeah, that's all there is.
Some good dialogue.
There's some good dialogue.
Yeah.
There's some good dialogue.
So he reveals to Tom, he's like the whole brother thing, and then Tom gets a little weepy. Mm-hmm. Tom says, "I always wanted you, Mike." Yeah. Mikey, I always wanted you to think of me as a brother, as a real brother, not weak and stupid. and Mikey says, "I know."
And then is that when Tom kind of tries to change the subject by saying? Or no, first he says the part about the Don.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does he say? He just says, while I'm gone, you'll be he just says, you're going to take over? How does he put it?
I didn't write it down, but he says, you're going to be the Don.
Right.
And he says, you're going to be in charge of Fredo's men.
Fredo and his men.
Rocco,
Fredo and his men.
Yeah.
Is there a sadder, more dejected figure than being a man in Fredo's crew? Mm. Like that your boss is a dumb guy who everyone makes fun of.
But there might be advantages to that. You can probably get away with a lot more, rather than being a soldier for someone like Fish.
But you think so?
Who's gonna be sharper and keep his eye on you and know when you're not paying up? And I'm saying there might be some advantages.
But it seems like if you do that, then you're going. It's easy to say that, but then there's also Michael Corleone to answer to. So you can't get away with too much, because if you go too far, then you're gonna get called to the to the boss.
But doesn't Fredo run his own crew? Is Fredo really going to know if you're skimming more than you should be?
But like if he's that sloppy where people are skimming and doing stuff, then there's gonna be blowback. You know,
You
like
think someone else has an eye on
Right.
Fredo's men? Fredo's just a figurehead.
yeah.
Someone else is really running.
So
that
maybe
crew.
they just give him like a bunch of guys who are just not real gangsters. They're just kind of like, listen, just it's like guys basically being paid to pretend Fredo is the boss.
They're actors.
yeah, they're actors.
They're gangster actors. Yeah, Fredo, we're gonna go. You want us to go rob a bank?
Oh my god, they're all wearing like makeup and stuff. Like, theatrical like costumes.
Don Fredo, what would you like us to do today to serve you? Sometimes
Hey, forget about it. You know, it's all like guys trying to do bad gangster.
and they're classically trained, so sometimes they know Fredo is so stupid he won't pick up on it. They even break into song.
Yeah, because the guy's like, when I first came here, I'd studied years to become a perfect gangster, and then he's like, but Fredo's so dumb, it's like wasted. I came up with an elaborate backstory for my character. He didn't even ask.
He just wants to be with the waitresses and go to the airport.
The job interview is 2 questions. Do you think I'm smart, and are you going to try to step over me? I said yes and no, and I got the job.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
That was really funny.
Thank you.
That was hilarious. Just the concept and the role play. Oh man, that was great. I'm gonna laugh hard when I listen back to that.
You're gonna cut it all
I'm
out.
gonna scrub it all out.
Too many laughs.
It's too precious. Just for me.
Yeah, put that in the bonus content.
Or they're not even actors or gangsters. They're just a crew that takes care of the compound. It's like an electrician and a plumber. And Mikey says, just pretend you work for him doing gangster stuff.
He's always giving the order. He's like, Phil, I want you to go down and show that guy. Push him around a bit,
show him your stuff. Oh yeah, okay, Freddie, I'll go do that. He goes. He's got like his.
Yes, sir, Mr. Corleone.
He's got like a bucket and tools and
It's like gardening shears. And he's got the pesticide sprayer that kill pop.
or Fredo says that, but you don't see his crew, the guy he's talking to, and then the camera pans over and the guy says, "Okay, Mr. Fredo, I'll get right on it." And he's skimming the pool. He's the pool guy.
He's skimming, all right. He's just unlucky.
Okay.
So then he says you'll be taking over the Fredo, his men, Neri,
Rocco.
He calls Neri by his last name and Rocco by his first name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Nearly.
And Connie calls Al by his first name, and we never hear her refer to Rocco.
Yeah, that's
Although
true.
we hear her refer to Rocky.
Oh my gosh.
Al, can you get Rocky a drink? Oh, can you imagine if Connie
Married Rocco.
was in Rocky and was the same character, but in her spoiled brat phase?
Well, yeah, I can see her being like Rocky's second wife. Like first he married the dowdy, but then once he got famous, then he left her for like a rich mafia bride.
Yeah. Why do you come to me, Adrian? Because I need money. She's like the same character.
Wait, that makes it sound like Rocky is the Don.
He's the husband in the relationship.
Oh,
So she's like,
yeah.
Rocky, you need to fight more. We need more money. We need more money.
I'd picture of like Sylvester Stallone replacing Merle in the movie.
Oh, you go that way.
Yeah,
Oh.
like that's like.
Oh, you're putting Rocky in The Godfather 2.
Well, that's like how they met. That's like how they're.
Oh,
It's like, you remember Rocky? You met in Philadelphia? He's like, no, I don't remember. I saw him there.
Mama, good to meet you. He kisses Mama. That would be great to picture Rocky as Merle.
Yeah. And then you even totally flip it and have Troy Donahue play Rocky in the Rocky 2.
Fighting Mr. T.
And Mr. T's character would change his name to be what Mr. T's real name was.
Oh,
The same way
yeah,
Merle is,
yes.
Merle
And so so Merle is boxing Mr. T, gets his butt kicked round one, but he's still in it. The bell rings, gang, gang, gang. He goes back to his corner. He's like bloody, his lips all cut up. And his manager says, Merle, you want us to throw in the towel? And he says, no, I think I should stay here. This concerns me. Got It's turning into like a Hot Shots movie because he's like, Connie, I got your tickets on the Queen. So he says, you're in charge of everything. You are the Don.
Yeah.
And Tom is just, he's a little stunned. He's waking up still.
You think so?
He's still.
Who's Don again? What?
Mikey, I'm not going to remember this conversation.
He took a lot of Ambien right so he's like, oh, God. Okay. Although, to be fair, this is not really the first time that Tom has been put in charge because basically he was in charge after Sonny was killed, but before the Don was kind of up and about.
Yeah, right.
So for a time, Mike, he probably was really running a lot of the family business.
Mikey, if you tell me any more about this me being the Don business, it could be proved in a court of law that I had knowledge that I am the Don, even though I know I'm the Don. So does this make me my own client?
It's like
this is a whole other world of paperwork.
I'm gonna go run for cover.
He's in charge.
Do you think when Tom is in charge, like when he was in charge during after Sonny's death,
charge of our family business?
Is it basically? It reminds me of like when the first time a president died in office. And the vice president took over. There was a lot of arguments about whether or not the vice president was now the president, or were they just kind of like the acting president?
Oh, yeah.
Like, were they allowed to basically initiate things, or did they kind of just have to kind of like, stand by and be like, okay, we're just gonna, I'll do whatever is needed, but I'm not like in charge.
Yeah. But in the Constitution, what does it say in the Constitution?
It says he becomes the acting president.
Oh.
So it's like, is the emphasis on acting or is the emphasis on president?
Yeah.
And
you're just acting as the president. So do all the things a president would do.
Yeah.
Acting as president lessons. Acting as secretary of state lessons.
So that like
good question.
If Tom was like, hey, you know what? I think the Turk had a great deal. I'm gonna go back then, and like, could he?
Sonny was right.
Could he do a big change like that? Could Mikey come back from Cuba and be like, what the hell have you done?
Oh, ha! What you do, Tom?
I turned this into a pancake franchise. It's the only way we'll go legitimate.
I sold all our immobiliary stock.
That's the whole third picture.
That's why he's not in GF3. Mikey fires him. He has to go buy back all that stock. That's a great question. Well, I think.
Go ahead.
I think he could do it, but he knows that Mikey is still alive and is going to come back. So he's smart enough to not do anything. He's just going to hold down the fort.
So until then, he's just kind of like, all right, just keep things running how they are.
Yeah.
And, don't do any bold new initiatives or anything like that.
It's great. He comes back and he's told, like the pancake franchise. I'm like, so Tom, what'd you do? He's like, Pop would have wanted this. This is business, Mikey. It's not personal. Pop wanted a pancake franchise? That's what he always told me.
Flapjacks.
So Tom has total power.
It's also weird to me that Mikey. It's weird that he's telling this to Tom in front of no one. It's almost like I guess later on we see it when Rocco's like, hey, where's Mikey? And he's like, Rocco, he kind of like busts Rocco.
He doesn't, but he still doesn't reveal it. He doesn't say, Mikey gave me complete control. He says something like, he's like, Rocco, go.
He just kind of like shuts him down. But like, it's weird that Mikey, did he tell everyone else? And then tell Tom last, or is everyone just supposed to believe Tom that Tom's just like, oh, and by the way, Mikey said I'm totally in charge. He said I could fire whoever I want.
Yeah, because you can't put it in writing.
I mean, yeah, I guess not.
I mean, Mikey, I don't know how he communicates this. Maybe it's in the Godfather newsletter. Extra, this something.
It's totally just Tom pointing out statements that Mikey totally said I was in charge, and and he's like, oh, I have a thing here signed by Mikey. Give me 1 second.
Oh, yeah. It's notarized by him. It's signed by him.
He spelled Hagen.
And so in the Godfather newsletter, it would be an editorial by Tom writing about how he has complete control. Whatever he does, says, goes. And that's it. But there's a counterpoint written by Rocco who's saying, well, he's the acting Don. So technically there are things orders we don't have to follow. Is it like a ship if you get enough people together, like you can like mutiny?
Or like, you know, like a board meeting, you can be ousted as the like Succession. Just get the votes, we can push Tom out.
What a great opportunity for Fredo.
Yeah,
to step in, right?
But he doesn't
to
have
step in and not.
All Tom has to do is give him one of those little sticks that have a cup on the end with a string and a ball. You know what I mean? You ever seen those? Yeah. Hey, Tom, how come I can't be in? Fredo, Mikey told me to give this to you. He said it's very important.
That is the funniest thing. That's like the most basic. It's not the most basic toy. It's just complex enough to keep a child occupied.
Right.
I'm confused.
He's like, come on, Tom. You don't come and give me a toy like this. I mean, look how look how easy. Hold on a second. Look how easy.
Oh yeah. Oh, Mo used to give this to me all the time in Vegas when I was learning a business.
I never Fredo stick.
Send Fredo to the airport. Send Fredo to operate in Mickey Mouse nightclub. Send Fredo to solve the Fredo stick.
To catch a ball in a little cup at the end of a stick. It can't be done, I tell you.
So this is a great opportunity for Fredo to step in, not to be stepped over.
Oh,
right?
That's right. I like it.
Is that maybe? Oh, hey, this is if we're gonna do Fantasy Island scenarios.
Yeah.
This is Fredo is possible the Fantasy Island, and his episode is called "Stepped In, Not Over."
Stepping in, not
Stepping
stepped
in.
over. He went from being stepped over to stepping in. He's like a dance instructor.
Stepped up, stepped up,
Stepping up.
yeah, stepped up. Yeah.
So Fredo must have like hit the roof when Tom comes out and goes, Mikey, put me in charge. He must have been like, what? You know, like,
Hey Alex, I got a job for you to do.
what's that?
I need you to go over to godfatherminute.com/support and start paying your dues.
Did you say support?
Yeah.
I think it's godfatherminute.com/some porn.
Yeah, that too. I wasn't smart enough to create that business. If you want to see the whole episode, go over there.
Are you gonna check it out yourself?
No!